Namo Namaha Bhavatam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And recently I've started to put content in Hindi language as well. And since I know only two languages, English and Hindi, so that content is for those people who want to learn Sanskrit but they are not very comfortable in English language. So for them, I've started that Hindi content playlist. Right now, I'm starting again with the foundations of Sanskrit that we already covered in English in the playlist Introduction to Basic Sanskrit Grammar very early on. So I am covering those topics right now, but very soon I'll be continuing with any other literature, not necessarily Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita I'm covering here in English language. So maybe some other literature, and through that literature, we'll learn and explore Sanskrit. So that is the idea. If you know someone who wants to learn Sanskrit, but again, learning it in English is a problem for them, kindly share that playlist with them. If you yourself know both the languages, English and Hindi, so you can obviously check out those videos as well. Some other content, some new content, so maybe you will get something new from those videos as well. So that is it. And again, coming back to our video for today, we are continuing in our series Learning Sanskrit through Gita. The shloka for today is the 37th shloka of the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. I hope you already know the context right now. By now, you must be familiar with the context. Arjuna, in his sorrowful state, is giving all sorts of excuses and everything so that this war is a bad idea, to prove this to Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna, being a good friend, being a good listener, he is giving all the time in the world to Arjuna that, okay, go on, pour your heart out, say whatever you want to. When the time comes, I will explain. So that is the context so far. So in that same spirit, same context, let's dive in today's video. Okay, so as always, this is the shloka that we'll decode today. Let me go through the shloka once. Tasman narha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasyama madhava. So this is the shloka, and as always, this is the Sandhi Vichhed version of the shloka. All the words separated out. So you can see here this combination word tasman narha. This on Sandhi Vichhed opens as three words tasmat na arhaha. And same thing is happening here. Actually, this is not a Sandhi because these are the two individual words, and since there is a half consonant at the end, so these two words are simply combining as the words combine in Sanskrit. There is this half consonant, this na, adhana. As for this Sandhi, all these details are mentioned in the PDF file. You can download the PDF file from the link in the description box. Again, besides the Sandhi, it also has the word by word breakdown of the entire shloka. So if I miss out anything in the video, you can always consult the PDF file. So I will not dwell more on this. Let us directly move to the decoding of the shloka. And so we are starting today with these two words, na arhaha. So actually this word here is our main word. So this is coming from the Pratipadik arha. And arha means someone who is worthy of, or someone whose actions are justified. You can think of it either way. So this is more in context of the shloka, but the actual meaning you will get in the Sanskrit dictionary is this: worthy of, someone who is worthy of, or someone who is obligated to do certain things, certain actions. But this is more in the tune of the context of the shloka, that someone whose actions are justified, whose works are justified. So that is the thing. We are starting with this word. Here, arhaha, this is in plural. So this obviously is an adjective to a large group of people. What is that group? We'll obviously see further in the shloka. But since this is referring to a large section of people, so it is obviously in plural. That is why arha changes into arhaha. This is a masculine gender word, right? And na arha. Since a na is preceding it, so obviously it means not worthy of or not justified. That is the sense here. This is what we are starting with. And when we open the shloka further, we have the question now, kaha, or who all. So na arhaha. Some group of people are not worthy of, or their actions are not justified. But what is that group of people whom this word is referring to? So vayam na arhaha. And vayam, this is a very common word for we all. This comes from the first person pronoun asmat. So the singular, the ekvachan is aham, that we use very often. Aham pathami, I will study, I study, aham. And the plural is vayam. Vayam means we all. And since Arjuna is saying these dialogues, so obviously he is referring to all the Pandava people, all the Pandava warriors that are present in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He is referring to all of them. Okay, so that is how Arjuna is starting the shloka, that Vayam na arhaha. We, all Pandava people, we are not worthy of, or we are not justified to do certain thing. What is that thing? Let us now see. So if I open the shloka further, this is the question Kim Kartum, that we are not justified to do what? Kim Kartum. And the response we get from the shloka itself is Hantum. Hantum. Hantum means to kill. This particular word we have already seen so many times, and by now I hope that all of you will be able to decode this word. That this is coming from the dhatu han. Han dhatu means to kill. This is the action han, to kill, and we are modifying this dhatu using the pratyay, the suffix tumun. Why we add tumun? We have already discussed this suffix so many times. When we want to say to kill, when we want to convey the reason. And see, here a question was raised that we are not justified to do. But what is the reason? What is the thing? To do what? So, to kill. So, to show that the reason, we are using hantum. Han dhatu modified by tuman pratyay. We have already seen this word so many times. So, I hope by now we are well versed at least with this word and the use of tuman suffix also. So, hantum vayam na arha. To kill, we are not justified, we are not worthy of. That is what is up till now. But now an obvious question will raise up, whom all? That hantum, to kill whom all? And the response is dhartarashtrana. Again, you see all these words we have covered so many times in previous shlokas, because again the context is staying the same. The stage upon which this Bhagavad Gita is happening is same. So Arjuna is referring to all the same people again and again, sometimes using some other adjectives, sometimes using some other nouns, but the context whom they are referring to is same. So we have already witnessed these words so many times. Dhartarashtran, Hantum. Dhartarashtran, this is Dhritarashtra people. That is the Kaurva people, right? Dhartarashtran, this is obviously coming from the Pratipadik Dhartarashtra. And Dhartarashtra, the descendant of King Dhritarashtra. Whoever is a descendant of King Dhritarashtra, he may be called Dhartarashtra. And since we are talking about multiple people, so obviously plural. And Dvitiya Vibhakti, right? Second case, plural. So Dhartarashtra is changing into Dhartarashtran. That we are not justified, Hantum, to kill Dhartarashtran, Dhritarashtra people. That is Kaurva people. That is what Arjuna is saying up till now in the shloka. Okay, so far so good. So let us move on. Kidrishan. So how is Arjuna describing these Kaurva people? So he is describing these Kaurva people as Swabandhavan. Swabandhavan means our relatives. So let us see this word, Bandhavan. The main word here is Bandhav. And Bandhav means relative. Bandhav means relative. So Bandhav means relative, and since Arjuna is talking about his own relative, so he's simply adding this swa. So whenever we add this swa, it means we are talking about our own thing. So you know this word, right? Dharma. Dharma means a righteous activity, your moral duty. And a lot of times you may have heard that take care of your swadharma. So what is that? Swadharma. Swadharma simply means that righteous activities, those moral actions that concern you, yourself, that concerns to you. So Swadharma, your own. That is what he is referring here also. Arjuna, Swabandhava. Swabandhava simply means our relative, our own relative. And obviously, since it is a plural, relatives, so this is also changing into plural. Dvitiya Vibhakti Bahuvachan. Second case, plural. So Bandhav changing into Bandhavan. Just as this Dhartarashtra changed into Dhartarashtran. So adjective, right? Adjective to this noun, Dhartarashtran. So anyways, in all, Vayam na arha. We are not worthy, or we are not justified, Hantum, to kill who? Swabandhavan Dhartarashtran, to kill our own relatives, the Kaurva people. That is what Arjuna is saying. And that is this first line. Let us continue what he says in the second line as well. So for this second line, we are again starting with some anchor word, Katham Syam. So if you remember the previous shloka, we had something very similar. There we had Ka Syat. No, we started with this, Ka Syat. So this Syat, this Syam, this is the main word here. This comes from the dhatu as. As dhatu is to be. The best way to remember this dhatu is the very common use of asti. He is. Sah asti. So that use asti, santi. So as means to be, And this particular form, Syam, this is the Vidhling Lakar, the potential mood, first person, that is Uttam Purush and plural. Why plural? Because again, Arjuna is talking about Vayam. Vayam, that he is talking about we all the Pandava people. So, first person Uttam Purush, we all, plural. Okay. So, in that sense, this us changes into Syam. And if you remember what is Vidling Lakar from the previous video, Vidling Lakar is when we want to show the potentiality that it could be, it would be. That is why in the previous shloka also we started with ka syat. That ka means what. So what syat would be. Here we are starting with katham syam. Katham is how. This is also an indeclinable. Katham is an indeclinable or an avyay. Katham means how. So katham syam, how would we be? Because again, we, because this is a first person verb form, right? First person plural verb form. That is why we are putting this we. How would we be? That is what katham syam means. And if we'll open the shloka further, the response is what? That how would we be what? So the response is sukhinaha. That katham sukhinaha syam. How can we be happy? How can we be joyous? That is what Arjuna means. And see, that is why I am putting this Vayam in the parenthesis, because this is implied here. Even though the Vayam, this is only present in the first line, but obviously this is being implied here also. This is a continuation dialogue, right? So you don't need to repeat the obvious things. So, Katham Vayam Sukhinah Syam. How can we be Sukhinah, happy? This particular word is a Nakarant word. Sukhin. The Pratipadik is Sukhin. This we say these words, no, that he is a brahmachari. So brahmachari is also a nakarant word only. That comes from this word brahmacharin. Again a nakarant word because ending with a na. Brahmacharin. This is the pratipadik. These are the pratipadik. In first case singular ekvachan, this sukhina brahmacharin, this changes into sukhi. That is why I say he is sukhi, he is happy. You can already try to see the pattern that this is the pratipadik and in first case singular, this is changing into sukhi. So what is happening? We are getting rid of this na and this lagu e. This e is changing into a dirgha e. So sukhin, the pratipadik is changing into sukhi in first case singular. That is why brahmacharan, it changes into brahmachari. It changes into this ri, brahmachari. That is what we say when we actually are saying this to someone, that he is a brahmachari, that rishi was a brahmachari, Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, he was a brahmachari. That is what is the meaning here, brahmacharan. So anyways, sukhin is the keyword, and since vayam, we are talking about multiple people, so obviously we are not going to use singular, rather we are going to use the plural. So in first case plural, this sukhina changes into sukhinaha. Now see the pattern that this na remains. What happens is you just put a visarga, sukhinaha. So suppose you want to say multiple people are brahmachari. So what you will do? Brahmacharan, this is the keyword. You will simply remove this halant and put the visarga. So brahmacharinaha. Those people, brahmacharinaha. Here we are talking about our own people. So vayam sukhinaha. And if you know this Shanti mantra also, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, a very popular Shanti mantra. So there also, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, that all people should be happy, Sukhinaha, talking about multiple people. That is why first case plural. Okay, so I hope you got this. A Nakarant word. Again, we are very common where we are very well versed with normal words like Akarant Ram, Ukarant Guru, then Ikarant Kavi. So we are very well versed with these kind of words. But these kinds of words have a slightly different pratipadik because they end with a halant consonant. So these is coming from Nakarant Sukhin. Same Atman, very common Sanskrit word. If you are going to study this Vedanta or Darshan Shastra, so you are going to see this word quite often, Atman. So this is also a Nakarant word, Atman. So they also have a slightly different word form than what we are so used to. That is why I try to explain this, that where this word is coming from. I hope it is clear now. Let us move on. So Katham Syam, how would we be? We be what? Sukhina. How would we be happy? This is what Arjuna is saying. Now the question is Kim Kritva, that having done what or after doing what Arjuna is contemplating this situation. So Hatva. And Hatva again we have seen, I think in the previous shloka only we saw, right? Han Dhatu is being modified using Twa suffix. And why do we use Twa suffix? When we want to show after doing whatever action is. After studying, after playing, after eating. Here we are modifying the Han Dhatu, that means to kill. So after killing or having killed. So Hatva, sorry, I think there is a mistake. The presentation file I have not updated. Sorry. The meaning here is having killed, right? Okay, so Hatva means having killed or after killing. So in the context, this becomes that how would we be Sukhina, happy, after killing, having killed, and if we'll move on with the shloka, after killing whom? So after killing Swajanam. Again, reiterating the same thing only with different word. Swajanam, this comes from the main word here is Jana. Jana means people. A set of people, group of people. And since he's talking about his own relatives, whether it is Kaurava people or Pandava people, all of them are related to each other. So he's talking about his own people. That is why he's adding this Swa. So Swajan. And again, since this is the object, the karma of this action Hatva, so it is in second one word case, not plural, singular. Why? Because this Jana, this is a collective noun. So you don't need to change it into plural. This itself means group of people. So Swajanam hi hatva. This he means indeed. That after killing our own people indeed, katham, how, vayam, we, sukhina, can be happy. How can we be happy after killing, after butchering, after murdering our own people? That is what Arjuna is saying. Okay, and if we'll move on, so this is the Anvay here, that starting with this Madhava, that he is addressing Shri Krishna. Madhav is again another name of Shri Krishna. So Madhav, O Madhav, this is addressing in Sambodhan Vibhakti, right? So O Madhav, O Krishna, Tasmat. Tasmat is an avyay or indeclinable. This simply means therefore. So since again he is continuing these dialogues, right? So he has already given so many reasons before, and he is continuing that therefore, and what he continues, that Vayam na arha, we are not worthy or obligated, and you can also add we aren't justified. You can also add this meaning, because this word arha, we seen that it can mean worthy of, obligated, or justified. So therefore we aren't justified to do what? Hantum, to kill Swabandhavan Dhartarashtra, to kill our own relatives, Kaurva people. That is what this line means. He continues, Swajanam hi hatva, having killed our own people indeed, Katham, how? Sukhina Syam, how could we be happy? How would we be happy? That is what Arjuna is saying. So again, this is in continuation with the mood of Arjuna that we have already witnessed in the previous shlokas. In the previous shloka, he said, Papameva dasman, that if we are going to kill them, only sins, we are only going to incur sins. And in the further previous shloka, he said, Trailokya rajyasya hetu api na antum ichhami, that even for the dominion of all the three worlds, I am not willing to fight this war. Then let alone for a small kingdom on earth, that is Hastinapur. So he is giving all these reasons. Same, there is another reason in this shloka also. His excuse, whatever he is feeling, he is conveying this to Sri Krishna. That is the underlying context. Grammar wise, a fairly simple shloka, because Hatva, Hantum, all these words we have already covered in the previous shloka so many times. So a fairly easy shloka, but anyways, this is what the entire shloka means. Do download the PDF file. I believe I have put something on the remarks section of the PDF file. Just one way of how you can approach any Sanskrit text, any Sanskrit shloka. So just one way I've mentioned out in the remarks section of the this PDF file. So download that PDF file, go through it, see if it makes sense, if it helps you approach any other Sanskrit text. So that is that. I'll meet you in the next video with the next shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam puna milamaha. Dhanyavad.